today we have a DIY video, and I feel like a lot of you guys like my DIY videos since those get the most engagement and views. So I was like, alright, let's do it. And obviously it's gonna be about clothes since I've kind of always been into DIYing clothes. It's just I never actually took the time to go out and sew stuff because I don't know how to sew. You guys know I don't know how to sew. You think my hand sewing sucks? I think it sucks. I totally agree. So that's why I kind of like veered off from it. But you know, when times are tough, you don't have a lot of money because YouTube's being difficult, so you can't really get a job at the moment because, you know, the real life stuff. So you gotta make clothes if you want them. As a result, you guys are going to be seeing a lot more DIY clothes related videos, and I hope you guys are okay with that because I just figured if I was going to take so much time to make it, I might as well just show you guys and we can just match. And plus it's totally inexpensive. Like everything or most stuff is from the thrift store for the videos that I have planned anyways, so super affordable and anybody can make it. So for this sweater, I wanted to copy this kind of like patchwork type of thing that's been trending, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff on sleeves, especially flowers, and I've just seen a lot of these sweaters and I'm like, I want it, but do I really want to pay $30 to $40? Not really. And also trying to find patches and stuff that are this big is kind of tough, and I was not gonna embroider by myself. Like, respects to people that embroider by themselves because it's a lot of work. So I was like, alright, so here's my idea of how to make fake embroidery so that it's even cheaper, takes a lot less time, and it looks pretty similar, I'd say. In fact, I think it looks better. I'm so proud of this sweater. Before I get into this video though, I just want to let you guys know I'm gonna try something different because I passionately hate doing voiceovers for videos so much. I've done it for so many years just because it seems more convenient, because you can always just keep re-recording and everything. You don't say anything stupid like some of the stuff that I cut out when I talk to you guys like this, but it's, oh my god, I just hate it so much. So I'm just gonna try something new and explain the whole process sitting here because it feels a lot more natural. But if you guys do have anything you guys want me to recreate, just comment it down below. Send it to me on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want, and I'll look at it, and if it seems possible with my current skill set, I will attempt it. Other than that, let's just start right into this video because I babble a lot. First things first, you're gonna need some type of black sweater or any color. I just chose black because I was trying to imitate the one that I was trying to recreate, and I would have preferred a sweater that was a little thicker, but this was all they had at the thrift store, and I wasn't gonna go to Walmart and buy a $20 one because at that point I might as well just buy the sweater already made, you know? So I got this one for about $3 from Value Village since it was 50% off. Also, this is a men's size, so if you're looking for an oversized one, just go in the men's section. If you're looking for a fitted one, go to the women's one. The next thing you need that's super important is some sort of flowered patterned lace. I got this lace thing, I don't know what it was originally for, but it was from the thrift store for $2, again 50% off. However, I have seen lace sheets of stuff like table runners from the dollar store, so you can definitely check that out as well if your local fabric or thrift store does not have it. I just went with lace because I thought the stitching on lace kind of emulated the stitching on embroidery a little bit. It looks more like you kind of just went in with a needle over and over again. Obviously it doesn't look the same, but I just thought it was the most similar way to go about doing this. Okay, so you're going to want to start off with cutting out some flowers and leaves of your choices. I tried to cut out different sized flowers, and honestly this lace was so beautiful that it killed me inside to have to cut through it, but I was like, I committed to this project, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna cut it. And so I just cut out a bunch of different various shapes, and you can cut out small ones if you want more detailed things. I just thought it'd be cool to have quite the variety. Once you think you've cut out a sufficient amount of flowers, leaves, and whatnot, just arrange them on some type of flat surface to kind of see how you want to place them on the sleeve and to make sure that you have enough to fill the sleeve however much you want. I did also decide that I wanted to be as identical as possible with both sleeves. However, if you want, you can be creative and make it different. You don't even have to put it on the sleeves technically, but for this specific project, we're putting it on the sleeves and we're gonna make it identical. Alright, so this is important if you have the memory of a goldfish like me. You're definitely gonna want to take your phone and just take a picture of the arrangement so that we can go back in later and arrange it in the exact same way, because otherwise you're just gonna end up with a bunch of pieces of lace and you're like, what was I gonna do with this again? I forgot. So make sure you take a picture. I actually referred back to this picture throughout the entire project. Alright, now to color these, you could use the white lace by itself, but obviously I'm trying to copy the sweater here. So we're going to be using some fabric medium mixed in with acrylic paint to turn it into fabric paint. I did also use this in a previous video in my unicorn sweater video if you guys haven't checked it out yet. Except I used watercolor paints in that one, and this time we're using acrylic paints, and I'm just mixing it according to the directions, which was a 1:1 ratio of acrylic paints and the fabric medium. Obviously, if you have fabric paints, you can definitely use that instead. It's just fabric medium is a lot cheaper in my opinion because I can use it for a bunch of different colors. I have a lot of different acrylic paints, and they sell acrylic paints at the dollar store versus fabric paint that I might buy in one color, and I wasn't gonna really use it for anything else for another few years. So it was definitely better on my end to just get fabric medium. So if you guys are like me and you guys are on a budget, that might help you decide what you want to do. When painting these roses and leaves, I actually painted the backside first, one solid color, and the edges as well. It does seep through, so it does kind of work out either way, but I mainly just did that because I was worried that for whatever reason, if these did lift off, like the edges or anything happened, like it rips a little bit, then obviously it'll be fun. You're not gonna see like a big white patch of like the actual original lace color because it'll be dyed and painted over anyways, so it'll be fun. It'll just look like it was originally supposed to be red anyways on the back and front. If you don't want to use as much paints as I did, another alternative which I thought of afterwards, which probably would have made this a lot easier and I probably wouldn't have wasted so much paint, is to actually dilute the paint just like I did with the watercolor one, and then just kind of dip it in for a few minutes, take it out, let it dry, heat set it, and then we can work on the front. Once you're done with painting the back and the edges, you can flip it over and actually start painting the fronts however you want it to look. I tried to shade it, at the same time I tried to keep the colors pretty solid and not blend it too much, just because embroidery is thread and you can blend thread colors together. It's not gonna be a super gradiented type of thing, and we're trying to emulate that look over here, so I tried to stick to very few colors as possible. Honestly, I haven't painted in so long, and I used to be really into painting, drawing, sketching, all that type of stuff. I was a total art freak. Like, my art closet is so full of materials. So this was actually really therapeutic for me and nostalgic. It was really fun to paint the flowers. After you're done, you're gonna wanna let it dry. I learned from the last video for the unicorn one that you should lay flat to dry, because just in case there's a lot of liquid, all the colors will seep down and drip and it'll just be not nice. So make sure you lay flat to dry. This actually took 1 to 2 days. Once it's all dry, you're going to want to heat set the color into the fabric according to directions, whatever it says on your fabric medium. I just went with putting it in between a few layers of fabric and ironing it for a few minutes on some super hot heat. Next up, you're gonna want to put on the sweater or shirts, whatever you want to put these roses on. Take some tape or pins. I was originally gonna use pins, but I found out that that's pretty dangerous if you're pinning it to yourself. So I just used some masking tape, and I taped the flowers where I wanted them on the sleeve, just so that I knew what it would look like when it was on, because when it's flat versus when you're wearing it, it's definitely very different in terms of placings, because you're not flat, you know, you're a 3D object thing. Why did I just call myself an object? You're a 3D person. Once you're happy with the placements, take off the sweater carefully, and then from there you're going to want to just flip out both sleeves so you can see them side by side, and repeat the same process to the other sleeve. And in this case, I actually used pins, which, by the way, if you're trying to save money and buy dollar store pins, don't do it because they suck. But it's just when the sleeves are both laying flat, it's a lot easier to make it very identical in terms of placings. And then the hard part is stitching on the flowers, which took a lot longer than I thought it would. I stitched it on with a corresponding color thread. I was going to go in with black and kind of outline some of the details, but after stitching on these flowers and leaves, I was like, this takes a long time. I worked on this sweater for 3 days. Not 3 days straight sitting down, but like I spent a few hours on it, and it could be partly because I suck at sewing, or maybe I just don't know how to sew, or it's just because I was hand stitching, but it just drove me absolutely nuts. I'm sure if you use like a sewing machine, it would work just as well, but much quicker. And alternatively, if you can't sew at all, there are different things you can do. For example, 1, use fabric glue. 2, use glue gun, which I would not recommend because you have to be really careful with washing the sweater, or else the glue gun glue kind of just melts again and kind of warps it. I've learned from experience. Or 3, you can buy those iron-on transfer sheets, where you iron on something onto it and it turns sticky, and then you iron on the other side to the other fabric and it sticks onto it. I don't know what it's called, I'm sorry, I've never used it. It's just, I'm literally only sewing it because it's the cheapest option and I already had thread, and you can buy a big pack of thread from the dollar store for $1. I did not want to go out and buy all that stuff that I was never going to use again, so that's why I slaved my life away to this sweater. And by the way, I have so many holes in my fingers from this sweater. It was absolutely crazy. Like, I'm sorry my fingers look crusty and dry right now, but that's the reality of it if you're gonna hand sew this. There are also many better ways you could probably sew if you wanted to emulate the embroidery look. It's just, they would take so much more time and my sanity was just about to like go through the roof, so I decided to just stick with normal stitching. But when you're finally done, you have a sweater with some fake embroidery that looks freaking bomb. I am so in love with how this turned out. I'm definitely gonna wear this a lot because I spent so much freaking time on this. But I hope you guys liked this video and you guys enjoyed all the troubles that I went through and you guys learned from it, maybe. Maybe. If you guys do attempt to make the sweater, let me know down below, as well as show me some pictures because I want to see the recreations that you guys make. You guys can use different colors, you can use some things that aren't flowers. I just want to see what things you guys come up with. Again, if you want me to try anything different or have you seen anything that you want that you just can't afford, just comment it down below and I'll see if I can try and recreate it. Subscribe if you haven't for weekly videos, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!